right, really excited for our episode today. We have so much to talk about. Amber, what do you see is on your heart today that we can chat through?
Yeah, Rebecca, I'm going to put you in the hot seat a little bit. I wonder if you would share what it's been like for you as a leader. We're on here talking about this unshakable life. And I know we've got listeners out there who are leading things because we're all leading something realistically. But really, in those positions of leadership, I think unshakable takes on a different meaning. It feels different. And so I'm curious, Rebecca, if you would just share your story a little bit of what it's been like to be a leader and how you're finding unshakable in the midst of that.
Yeah, so I am a founder and an entrepreneur, and I have for so many years, probably the last 15 years, any realm that I'm in, I'm a leader or the leader, the main leader. Like here at Arrow's Edge, I'm the head coach and the founder. And it's something that's I've really been thinking through is that journey that you feel like you're carrying it all alone. Have you ever felt that way? You feel like you're just carrying it all alone? That's how I felt. And the reason why I felt like that is because if I'm always the leader, there's been these times where I've opened up and maybe I shed a tear or I showed a weakness or I was going through something and I'd be judged or disqualified or start to think that they're better than me. Their pride would come up and all of a sudden it's you're not fit to run a business. You're not all these things come at you just because you had one vulnerable moment and you start to learn to like be really discerning about what vulnerability can look like in your life, right? And so what it ends up being, and this is what I've walked through, is this very painful journey of having to feel like I'm carrying it all by myself, even when I'm not completely. And there's like things that maybe with entrepreneurs like myself, there's always another level. There's always things that can be tweaked up and developed and changed. We haven't arrived. There's always growth to happen. In fact, if you're not growing, you're dying. And I just recognize all these times I'm working 7 days a week and I'm working these 12, 13, 14, 15-hour days. And I feel like some things got out of balance where it's like not enough time with the kids or not having the right connection with the husband or finances suffering. Not having fun was a huge one. It's if I'm not working, I'm training. If I'm not working, I'm training. And so it's like work, grow, and no vacations. That wasn't happening. And so I don't know if any of you felt like that, but I felt, man, I don't have anywhere to set this stuff and work this stuff out in a way that I won't be judged. And I'll tell you, when I finally found it, ability to do that was really life-changing. So to be an unshakable leader, you have to be discerning as to where you can put your struggles, being able to be authentic and open while also being discretionary. I was training on this a while back. I was talking about the metaphor that really dropped into my heart is what is the dress code for showing up in vulnerability? Because I'm like, I'm such a vulnerable, authentic, just wide open person. I know you are too, Amber. And so it's what can you really share without being completely like discredited for no reason? Even though that I'm not doing anything bad, don't get me wrong. I'm not out there crazy or anything. There's just these moments where I feel like, honestly, I think it was yesterday it hit, where it's like somebody's asking me to do another thing, and I'm like, I cannot do another thing right now. And that overwhelm was creeping up. So a simple thing like overwhelm, it's consistent in most achievers' lives. I've not got it perfected yet. Where do I place that? And so I have to know the environments I can go to. And so I did put this metaphor together of what is a dress code. Like you wouldn't show up in an office environment in your bikini, but you would be totally fine at the beach to be wearing a swimsuit there. You wouldn't show up to a ballroom wearing jeans and a t-shirt. So it's like how much you can be totally authentic in every realm, but yet be decisive about what you can expose. But I wonder, have you ever felt that where it's, if you share it, you're going to be judged or you're going to be misunderstood? You really want to share it. You really want to wrestle through it because you want to grow and you want to heal and you want to love. And you just don't have anywhere to put that stuff. Have you ever felt that way?
Yeah, those are big, real feelings, right? Like it feels isolating and lonely. And those things feel heavier when we don't have someone that can help us carry them. And when there's that fear of judgment or being disqualified, as you were talking, I was thinking about how good this will be for those of you out there who know that you carry something amazing and you want to put it out into the world, but you're waiting to arrive. And how many times I've seen this in different circles. You're not hired for this position because you're not healed yet. Are you kidding? Like, we know hurt people. I get that. But also, people who are healing need a place to practice their healing. And so, if you're out there and you're like, I just know I've got this thing burning on my heart and I want to put it out there. I want to step out, but you are waiting to arrive. Oh, don't wait. Don't wait. Just step out and do it because a lot of the healing will come along the way. And so I just want to brush that lie off that we've all heard. How many times? Right? Honestly, I have 4 kids at home still. And there are often times that I get disqualified from leading. Why? Because I have 4 kids at home. Because they should be my only priority or my only focus. Now, they're my main priority, yes, but my only, I don't think so. And so there are all these little ways that we find that we can disqualify people. And I think when we have this mindset of leader is up here, instead of leader is coming alongside of me, or even Rebecca, I know the way you lead, you're coming underneath almost, and let's push you up. And so there's no hierarchy, but I think our brains do that. And then we're like, we can't learn from someone if everything isn't perfect in her life. You guys, we're hurting so many people, including ourselves, by having that type of mindset. It's really, yeah, yeah. So, what else about this, Rebecca, would you share with our listeners?
I know most of us were like, I'm a warrior. I can be strong. I'll just push through it. And to some extent, we need to push through it, don't we?
Yeah.
Because for me, the pressure produces progress. It honestly does. Think about it. If we're just sitting there all day and we have certainty about everything and we know exactly how it's going to go and we succeed and we're just on the couch all comfortable eating our chips, and how much will you grow in that environment? Humans grow through pressure. And I was just talking about it the other day with our community. It's really struck me over the past few weeks. This pattern that I'm noticing in people is when we discover something that is being revealed that we can grow from or shift, or that constant and never ending improvement that we always want to have. When something gets revealed, I keep seeing people, leaders, achievers, oh my goodness, they're so good at this. They're like, oh my gosh, there's something bad that came up. Now I'm so bad. And the shame comes and they're like, something's wrong with me. And I found it fascinating. I had a client of mine and she brought this up. She said she had so much new awareness during the session we were having, the coaching session we were having. She was really mind blown. And she was actually we were wrapping up the session and she was in a very low emotional state. And I'm like, okay, wait, what's going on there? And she said, it feels like a big cactus with all of its like pokey things poking at me. And I just gave it a second to just sit with it. And what dropped in my heart was this incredible reframing that we can do is when we discover something about ourselves that it's like the other day, I was like, oh, look at me. I'm getting all overwhelmed when I teach people how to stay in peak state all the time. I missed my peak state for a minute. How could I? And so I could get all down on myself like a prickly cactus. You know how those just stick in and they hurt and they just actually cause this nuisance to you. And the sooner you can get them out, the better. The visual dropped in that it's an acupuncture needle. When you discover something and it's there and you can see it and you can feel it and it needs to be dealt with, it's there to heal you, not hurt you. It's there to heal you. It's providing this pathway forward. And I know the two things that were really on my mind today is this notion of I feel like I got to carry it all alone. And the second thing is if I need to grow, there's something wrong with me.
Yes.
And I'm here to say, man, first of all, it's all of us. We're all growing. And there's nothing wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with you. It's all part of the process. And everything is as it should be.
Yeah, if we continue in that mindset of I have to be fixed, I think that's when that shame comes in then because it's, oh no, another broken place. And I love, Rebecca, how you approach those of another opportunity. It's an opportunity to heal. It's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity for deeper and better self-awareness that will change everything. And so it's not this, yeah, that's so powerful. And I'm still learning, I'm still catching up to, oh, this is an opportunity. Because my first response is, oh crap, I messed it up again. Like, how did I not see this after 42 years? Oh, but if everything came up at once, can you imagine how devastating that would be? Like every area that we have to grow or heal in, if it was dumped on us, oh my gosh, we'd never get through it. And so there's such grace even in, oh, this came up now, and now I can deal with it. And then you walk down the road a little ways, oh, this came up, and now I can deal with it. There's something really beautiful about that process of life. And so allowing ourselves to be in that process, I think is amazing. And then this idea of trying to carry it all alone. Oh my gosh. Can you just talk to the people who are doing that right now? Like they're balancing maybe a business or a dream and family and friendships and all of these things, and they're trying to keep them all together. What would you say to those people who are carrying all of the things? I always see it as a backpack, right? And it's like heavy and weighing them down, and there's so much pressure. What would you want them to know today?
Honestly, I would say go right now. It's like, don't collect $200, don't pass go, get over there, get yourself a coach.
Yes.
I'm a 12-year long coach and I never cease to make sure that I have a coach because it's true. Sometimes it's like people will, these are true things. You do something wrong, it'll be publicly exposed all over the internet these days. People will decide who they feel you are. They will just the stuff happens. And the reality is it's so important to have sometimes you go to your family and they either think worse about you than you really are, or they think better about you than you really are, or at least anyways, my family thinks better about me than I think I am a lot of times. Like, so it helps me to have a real valid voice into my life that is unbiased to my actual life experience. Like, it's really helpful to have somebody who's championing you no matter what you're going through, and somebody who has also been a leader in the same realm. Something I've learned the hard way by hiring all wrong people and doing all the wrong things. And it's really important to find somebody who has attained the goal or the outcome that you're looking to attain. Never work with somebody who hasn't actually gotten there. Not that, okay, so if you want to be unshakable, very rarely do you have a completely unshakable human being in the earth. But I will tell you this, I've done the work I'm as unshakable as I've found around me. And being able to reframe those things is so important to have somebody in your life where you can not carry it alone. Or somebody in your life who will tell you, look, it's important to leverage other people in your life. Because sometimes we're the superheroes. We just do all the things. We step up, we take care of it, we get it done. And all of a sudden we're feeling burnt out and exhausted. And it's been like 4 years since you had a day break or vacation. It's like, what happened the last 4 years? And all these things happen. It's so important to have those places in your life where you can just, it's not like you have to just dump out all your emotions all the time. It's actually to productively make sure you're getting from where you are now to where you really want to go. I know if I hadn't had the mentors and coaches in my life that I do, there'd be no way that I would be where I am today. Especially some of the hardest things I've been through. I have valued people that stepped in those seasons that unforgettably, I will never forget their impact on my life because I chose to invest in myself in those times. I chose to spend finances to invest in myself so I could better invest into others, so I could show up better in the world, so I could show up better for my family. That's not a marketing ad thing just because we're coaches. That's just real life. I can't get around it. I have to say that. I'm so passionate about it. And if you're going to get yourself a coach, make sure they're actually a coach. That's the other thing. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be raw today, really raw. We are seeing this blast of people calling themselves coaches that are just people who are wounded and they've been through a thing and they want to help other people get through a thing, but they haven't done the emotional work that's necessary and they haven't built what needs to be built. And they haven't been in the ring with blood, sweat, and tears, really doing the hard work. And they haven't done the training either. I've put over $100,000 into my coach training. Why? Because every time I take a class, every time I invest in myself, I show up better for others. For me, coaching is just who I am. It's not what I do. And ask my kids. That's how I show up in life in every area. And it's interesting though, I still have to have the one or two people in my life where I show up just as me. You're that person for me, Amber. I can say, okay, Lego dumping, this is how I
Yes.
feel. And for those of you listeners who haven't heard of Lego dumping, this is, Amber came up with this. It's amazing. Amber, will you explain Lego dumping? Because it's very different than venting. I hate venting. I hate it. I won't listen to it. It will not happen. I will listen to somebody all day long who is processing. And that's very different. And Lego dumping has a really good illustration and metaphor for what healthy processing would look like. So why don't you talk to us about that real quick?
Yes, I love dumping Legos. And I love when I have friends who reach out and they're like, I just need to dump my Legos. And so here's how I picture it. You got a bucket of Legos, right? And so you've got hundreds of pieces in there. And honestly, you have everything in there to build something beautiful. But if you keep them in the bucket, you can only use the Legos that are on the top because you haven't gone to the depths. And when you don't do that, you're not even sure what Legos you have because you haven't sorted them out. And so Lego dumping is coming to someone and it's dumping out that bucket of everything that's inside of you. And so it could be thoughts and feelings and opinions and impressions and all of this stuff. And it's sorting them out together. Oh, this brick goes here, this brick goes here, this brick goes here. When you Lego dump with someone who is safe and in the right way, so not the venting, but really we're looking at what is inside of me. By the end of it, you can look at all that you have and you can start to build something beautiful with those Legos. And that's why I love it because it's this productive thing. We're not just sorting Legos so someone can step on them later, right? Like we're sorting them so we see what we have so that we can build something beautiful.
What I love most about Lego dumping is that a lot of times just hearing it come out of my own mouth and received by another, I'm like, oh, that was dumb. That doesn't work. That doesn't make sense. That block does not fit here.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So a lot of times by the time it's all spilled, and this is where you have to be careful to get into safety. Because Lego dumping is so important because a lot of times you have to just say all the weird, crazy thoughts that come through your mind that you would never intend and you would never probably take action on, but they just pop through so that you can get them out of your body and so that they can be received and echoed back so you can evaluate if those are actually your own thoughts and that are they going to be true to you and are you going to step in and operate in them. And sometimes crazy stuff comes out. I was like, and then you're like, no, that's not me, that's not who I am. It never would be me. I would never actually do that or say that or be that. But it was in there, it's just stuck in there because of the pain that's being felt. And so it's so important to have that. And that's one reason why I love coaching is because we're all about finding what's inside and bringing forward the blessing and the good and your actual potential and pulling out potential. Like I could do that all day and all night long. So part of being an unshakable leader, I think, male or female, I know that the psychology industry is really based towards female. It just
Mm.
really is. Talk therapy
Yeah.
is based towards that feminine energy, but either a feminine or masculine energy can really benefit by saying, hey, this is what's going on. I need to get even getting back into your creative space, out of your head. You get in your head, you're dead. You're in your heart, you're smart. You got to get out of your head, into your heart. Goodness gracious. And that being able to do some of those things will get you moving so much further, so much faster. I've been thinking a lot lately, but this notion of how much time we waste because we're in a low state, like how much time gets wasted. And I actually realize it because me and my husband, we get ready together in the morning and we're talking about the day and making a plan and setting our goals, whatever's on our heart or whatever dream we had the night before. And it's interesting because if one of us is in a low state, in a negative place, it actually takes a lot longer to get ready in the morning. Like you can time it. It takes us longer to finish getting ready. It's like everything slows down. It's
Mm.
almost like having a rag in a pipe, and only that little bit of water can flow through because there's something stuck in your pipe. Being in a low state slows us down to the point where it's so funny. I don't have any time. I'm running late. Ah! And the overwhelm starts, the emotional stacking starts, and the whole time it was simply because you were in a crappy state.
Mm.
I mean, it really is. State is everything, guys. Everything. It changes everything. And so we think about unshakable leader. It's okay. We're carrying it all alone. We that can cause a lot of pain. Being able to get that vision put together, get the forward motion going. Once momentum starts and you're in a peak state, beautiful state, oh my goodness, the results that can happen and the destiny can unfold. But how much time do we waste
Yeah.
being negative and, oh, I figured this out about myself. Now my world's blowing up. And it's so bad. And it's no, you're not inherently evil. Most people aren't. And there's nothing wrong with you. You're human. And to be able to accept it, and this is something I'm getting a lot better at because I would say a week ago or something, I was so triggered. Oh my goodness. But it was great. I found something inside myself that was linked to, I still don't know what yet, but it put me in this, wow, what is happening? Because my body responded, my mind didn't. And in my
Mm.
mind, I had all the right tools. So I was sitting there, okay, let's work the process. But the first thing I think of is, this is awesome. I'm so glad this is exposed because then I get to deal with it and I get to grow. Like, this is such an opportunity. Who doesn't like to grow? Okay, maybe we say we don't like to grow because growth pretty much always means we have to take a risk. We have to push through fear. We have to be bold in some way. We have to get out of our comfort zone. That's where growth happens. And so it can be really scary, but man, the outcome, it feels so fun. It's exciting to grow. It's even better to heal and to really be able to show up differently. And it's amazing what that really can produce.
It really is. As you're talking, I'm thinking like, we want to do this on our own, right? If we're honest, there's a part of us that's, I need to do this in isolation. And then
Yeah.
I'll step out. It's that idea of the arrival, right? But it's like, I have to keep all of this hidden and keep it all. And so if you're listening today and you're like, I've been trying to do this by myself, this is your sign, right? You can't do it alone. That is one thing that I fully believe. Healing and growth don't happen in isolation. We don't get our identity in isolation, right? Like we weren't made for that. We were made to come alongside. And I just want to hop on that, like the coach thing. A coach is beautiful because they're unbiased. And the way that Rebecca and I coach is like, where do you want to go? And
Yeah.
we're going to help you get there, right? Like it's not this, I have this preset, preconceived notion. And sometimes our family and our friends can be like that. I think that you should do this. I think these are the gifts you should use. I think that this is, and that can be really tricky. And then that can cause further isolation when someone's, I think that your life should look like this. And you're like, but that's not what I want it to look like. And so that's the beauty of a coach is this unbiased, where do you want to go? Let's explore that. And if you don't know where you want to go yet, even better. Let's explore what's inside of you and see what pops up. And so I just wanted to make a plug for that because I think that's really important to know because I know for me, years it was like, but I have people that are speaking into my life, but I have people that are speaking into my life. But they were speaking from their perspective, from their experience, right? This is what it should look like. This is what your life should look like. And I believe we each have our own race to run. And so it's like, why am I trying to run in your lane if my destiny looks different? And so I want to get in my own lane and be able to do what I want to do and what I was put here for. Like, what's my purpose?
You know what that made me think of, Amber? I saw a comment on your social media just a little while back. And I wonder if you could speak to it just for a minute before we wrap up, because I saw somebody actually post that I think it was that they were told by God they had to just be alone. And it was like, we have to or how was it said? It was like, we have to go through all of this alone. Do you remember the comment? Because it
Yes.
stuck out to me. I'm like, wait a minute.
Right. So yes.
Could
Yeah.
you respond to that? I know we didn't
Yes.
really go deep on your social media feed page about it, but I think it's an important question because the invitation is, oh, I need to hide. That's just shame, right? What would you say to that person if they were sitting in front of you right now?
First of all, that post was about when we're in the process of deep healing, it's okay to have a small inner circle. And I had referenced Danny Silk has a teaching about the relationship circles, right? And not everybody gets this front row seat to my entire process. It's that idea of the vulnerability. What am I wearing today, right? Like, how am I showing up? What pieces of my heart can this person really steward? And so the comment then was instead of a small inner circle, it was no inner circle. And that does not work. That does not work. Again, we can't heal or grow or find our identity in isolation. And so I think I can't even remember how I responded to it on social media, but it's this invitation of, but you don't know what you don't know. And so you're stuck and think about it. So my whole like you all know by now, I think in pictures and metaphors and all of these things, my whole metaphor with that was the delivery room. Rebecca and I both had babies. Not everyone was invited into that delivery room. Right? It's like there was something sacred about that. Now, did it mean that if you weren't invited in, I didn't love you? Not at all. Was I in there by myself? Not a chance, right? For the process that I was going through naturally, I needed doctors and nurses and there's so many different ways to birth, and so this isn't putting it in a box, but
Yeah.
doulas or whatever, like you need somebody there. And in those places, you need an expert. Like, whatever it looks like, whether it's a midwife or a doctor or nurse, you need an expert because what you're going through requires that level of attention. And so there's something really sacred about that. But I think that's what I would say. I would pull up that example. When you had your babies, did you do it by yourself?
Yeah. So, what would you tell somebody who currently is walking through life and they actually don't have an inner circle?
Yeah, that's first of all, oh, that breaks my heart because I think about my inner circle and I wouldn't be where I am without that. And so I think that is it's this invitation to start somewhere. And honestly, if you don't have an inner circle and you're like, I don't have anybody that I can trust, I am out here on my own, a coach would be a good place to start because that can be explored in coaching, right? Who in your life can you trust? Is it really true that there's nobody that you can trust? Or is there someone in your life that you can start to build this relationship with? And then I would ask, what fear is keeping you from trusting or from inviting people closer? There's always something. And the Lone Ranger Maverick thing, I just don't like it. I don't like it. And so if you were coaching with me and you're like, I don't have an inner circle, Amber, that's what we would explore. Who's already in your life? How can you make that inner circle a little bit deeper first? Because it's not necessarily about going wider,
No.
but how can you make it deeper? And that's going to require you to show up vulnerably, to show up humbly, to show up with generosity, right? If we're just like, what can I get from everyone? You're not going to have an inner circle. But if you're like, what value can I add here? Man, that makes a huge difference. So I think
It
there's an
does.
invitation. There's a huge invitation there.
Yeah, I think about developing the inner circle. I have a very small inner circle, but they're dear and precious to me.
Yeah.
And I think it was just this Monday we were talking about. I asked our community how many times they thought, because Amber, you and I have been friends for 20 years, how many times have I been hurt by you? And they know us that well. It's actually in 20 years, it's 0 times. Have there been opportunities to be hurt? Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, this is that secure attachment here. It's like, I'm not super hurtable and you're not hurtful, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And that's so important if you can find that, because the reality is, and this is where the unshakable comes in, because the reality is everyone is a mirror to you, telling you something about yourself
Mm.
that you might not know, even the ones that really bug you and drive you crazy. And so you can learn something from every single person in front of you. So it's really cool because you, instead of being hurt, you can focus on what can I learn? And this process, is it true?
Yes.
Is it really true? It's something to really think about. And so we don't let our minds go crazy and suspect one another and all those things, which allows that inner circle to be so beautiful and so precious and so highly protected. I wouldn't give up my friendship with you for anything. Nobody could
Mm.
talk me out of that. And that's unshakable friendship, which we'll have to do an episode
Yes.
about that someday, man. That will be an awesome episode because not many people have that kind of friendship.
Yeah.
And I'd love to teach people how to get that. And
For sure.
it really goes both ways of, am I hurtable? And am I being hurtful?
Yeah.
Is a really interesting thing. So that's just something that came up. You don't want to do this alone, and there are ways to figure out who's the right fit for you too, and who can be safe in there. And then there's a whole nother episode we can do on trust, because
Yes.
trust is not a blanket statement. It's
Yes.
just not. I either trust someone or I don't. That's baloney. It really is. And to me, trust is categorical in some ways. Like Maybe you totally trust your bookkeeper with all of your finances, but you're not going to trust them with your heart. There's different ways to trust. I digress. We should bring it back in and land this plane. There's so many good things to talk about in this topic. But I think we started this episode of, have you ever been in that place where you're the leader in every room and you have some things you want to work out? You have things to carry, but you have nowhere to really put them and place them. That was me. That was me. And it's been amazing to be able to. It's funny too, because when you're triggered or when something's going really wrong, you think you have no one. That's the story that I got no one to talk to. And it becomes this big thing. But then this question, because the quality of your life is really based on the quality questions you ask yourself. If you could just ask yourself, is that true? I've got, because I will, in those moments of those high, intense emotions, right? You're like, I got nobody. Is that true? Is that really true?
A
Yeah.
great question. Yeah, yeah. Oh, this has been good. This has been good to talk through.
Yeah.
It really has.
All
And I
right.
hope it's blessed our listeners today too.
Yeah. All right, guys. So I really hope you enjoy this episode. We look forward to bringing you another episode next week. This gave me some ideas on what we can talk about. I don't know about you, Amber. Any last words before we let these guys go?
I don't think so. This was fun today. Thank you for sharing so openly, Rebecca. That means a lot.
Thanks for showing up always,
Yeah,
Amber.
you bet.
All right. We'll see you guys later.